patriots, fellow populists, revolutionaries, fighters for freedom against the New World Order, I have some very bad news to give to you. I will not, as much as I was very much going towards heading to Ottawa on the 1st, on Canada Day, I will not be able to go. I won't be able to go, and I'll tell you why. And it has something to do with what I am about to tell you. But I want to let you guys know that I cannot attend. So in case you go and you don't see me, I will tell you why. But before I do, I urge all of you. I plead with all of you. And I know it might sound hypocritical. Oh, you're not going, so why do you expect me to go? You can think like that if you want. It's not going to help you. That Canuck attitude, that lazy, submissive Canuck attitude isn't going to work right now. I mean, we are in a literal crisis right now. And it depends on how we act. Now, I will tell you why I literally cannot attend. But if you can attend, if you actually can attend, I urge you to attend. I plead with you. I would do anything to be able to attend. But under the circumstances, I can't do it. I can't do it to my family. I can't do it to my mother. I can't do it. A family member of mine died. I may have mentioned that in a video passingly. I don't like to talk about my private life. Especially when it has to do with other people. I just don't like doing. But a lot of what I'm going to tell you is so intertwined with what has been going on that I have to share this story. Now, a family member of mine died, and my folks have to go to the funeral. And I'm staying here so that I can watch the property. And I also have to work as well, but I have to that's why I can't myself go to the funeral, but I want to watch this property because I don't want anything to happen. I don't want the house to be completely empty. Especially with what happened, I'm sure you guys who've been watching me knows what happened. I don't want to really talk about it, but I want to make sure that the property is safe. I don't want completely no one to be here. Just nobody. And, I won't get into it. But, this is really, what has been going on, especially, has really, really got me just thinking about so many things. And I think that in the past few months with this coronavirus, I have learned a lot about the globalists. And I really do believe that there is something sinister happening. And I'll tell you why. The family member who did pass away, they say that he had coronavirus, Covid19. That's what he died from. That's what the hospital is marking it as. But I'm going to tell you now that that's all BS. That's all BS. And I'm going to say something even more shocking. He didn't die of coronavirus. The hospital indirectly murdered him. Indirectly, not directly, but indirectly he was murdered by the hospital that he was staying at. The third-rate, shitty hospital that he was staying at. Where, and I can tell you why. 2 nights, I believe, before he died, my mom got a message saying, they're killing me here. I believe that may have been the last text message, but he said, they're killing me. He was getting better. And I hate to talk about my private life like this, but the thing is that this intertwines with what's going on. They're now saying that the numbers are going up. And I don't believe a word of the media. I don't believe the globalists. I don't believe any of it. Any of it. And you shouldn't either. And I'm going to tell you why, based on my experience. That is the only reason I'm talking about this. But he said, look, they're killing me here. He was getting better, but then he was losing his breath. He couldn't breathe. He was gasping, trying to call his call button. And I've experienced this too in hospitals. I understand nurses are overworked and all this stuff. But, you're a nurse for a reason. When your patient needs you, he or she could be dying. And instead of someone coming to attend to him, they were out there laughing and giggling and going on and doing their own damn thing and just ignoring the man while he's sitting there gasping for air. Gasping for air. And finally someone came to him and they hooked him up and did something to help him to breathe. And that's when he sent that message. These people almost killed me. Due to incompetence, due to not focusing, not paying attention, they're saying that these hospitals have been overrun. So, shouldn't there be, more hands on deck, focus, paying attention instead of just lagging off like that? For the love of Christ. Being a nurse or a doctor is almost like being in the military. You think soldiers can just sit out there in Baghdad or Afghanistan and just goof off like that? I understand you're under stress and stuff, but this is people's life you're dealing with. So anyway, that was a few nights before his actual death. Now, what happened is, we reached out to him. He told us what happened and all this sort of stuff, and that he feels that some of the symptoms are coming back. Okay. So it was sorted out. There's nothing really we can do. He's somewhere else and, we're here and we can't, there's family over there who's dealing with it. And then we get word the next day that he died. He died because he literally suffocated to death. Why? Because he couldn't breathe. I don't know. They must have taken him off the respirator or whatever. Couldn't breathe. And, again, nobody was paying him any attention and he just died and they must have found him dead. So that is why I say it's indirect murder. But what they're doing now is they're marking it as coronavirus. That's what he died of, coronavirus. So I'm saying to myself here now, hang on now. You saying he died of coronavirus is similar to, let's say someone goes into the hospital with a gunshot wound. Okay, you all remember Ronald Reagan, the former president of the United States, when he was shot by John Hinckley, and he was one of the only presidents who has ever been shot to be rescued, not to die. He was rescued. Imagine if he went to the hospital and the doctors just brought him and put him in some corner and just left him. He'd be dead! He'd be dead! And yeah, you could say it was a gunshot wound, but that's not very accurate because the point is he could have been saved. And it's the same thing with my family member. He could have been saved if people were paying attention! But nobody was paying attention, were they? Nobody was paying attention. And how dare you say that he died of coronavirus? How dare you! It was murder! It was involuntary murder! And if they're doing things like this, I want to know how many more of these so-called COVID-19 deaths are in the same way related. I don't believe a damn thing what these numbers say. They're saying that the numbers are now 10 million. BS! I don't believe it. Not after what I've experienced firsthand. It's not this virus that I'm afraid of. It's human beings that I'm afraid of. It's human beings. Human being, and it's not even fear like I'm going to hide under my bed or something. It's, I've seen what bad people can do and how bad people can lie and how bad people can manipulate reality. I've seen it. And with this coronavirus thing, they have really done a number. Now, just when things were beginning to reopen, now you've got California deciding to reclose their bars, Florida deciding to do the same thing. Florida's governor, who used to be a good person who was on our side, now he's acting like a power-tripping douchebag, saying there'll be hell to pay if somebody opens up a bar or goes to a bar. Hell to pay! And now you've got all over Canada, there are people who are trying to force communities to wear masks, and there are people who are now trying to force vaccines on us. I'm going to tell you guys something. The moment vaccines are forced on us, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. When I say something, you realize when I say something, I do it, right? Unless like something crazy happens or I can't do it. But if forced vaccinations come, I will make sure I will take up arms and I will personally start creating hell. I will pick up arms. There will be a bloodbath. It will stop being words. It will get physical with me and the enemy. It will get physical. I will go to jail. I'll probably die, but I'd rather die fighting than submit to this evil, to this viciousness. Forced vaccinations, that is the line that I cannot cross. I won't do it. I won't do it. It won't happen. And I urge you all to join me. If they start up with this forced vaccination, start forcing people to take vaccines, and if they don't take it, you can't work, or even worse, if you don't take it, we'll drag you off to an isolation camp or a concentration camp, we're going to start fighting. You hear me? We're going to start fighting. There's going to be no forced vaccines while I'm alive. We'll start fighting physically, violently. It'll be deadly. And I can do it too. Oh, I can do it. I can do it. Anybody come here and tries to drag me away to take a forced vaccine, I'll blow their brains out. I'll kill you! This whole thing has really, really made me a lot more angry, a lot more vicious, a lot more just steam, this whole coronavirus thing. It's like nothing has made me, yes, unprovoked wars and sending our men and women to die, unnecessarily, that really steams me as well. But this coronavirus thing, I'll tell you, all these, there are things, liberalism, there are a lot of things that but this has really, really pushed me almost to the edge. Now they're saying that, the numbers are going up, so they're going to put a stop to reopening now. It's going to take another year. They're saying this could go on for years. I don't believe these numbers. You hear me? I don't believe these numbers. My family member could be alive today. If he was in a proper hospital with proper people looking after him, he would be alive today. Coronavirus didn't kill him. Incompetence killed him. Coronavirus was just a symptom. It was incompetence. It was negligence that killed him. Negligence, carelessness killed him. He'd be alive today. He'd probably be better today. Coronavirus kills less than 1% of people who get it, and probably even less than that, because I don't trust a lot of these numbers. I think a lot of these people who have died from coronavirus died from something else, or were not properly taken care of. I don't know if the hospitals are letting people die just so that the numbers can go up, so that people can be even more scared and be more willing to surrender their freedoms and be more willing to uh, run for mandatory vaccines and all this stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this coronavirus was made in a lab. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they say things like bat soup and all this stuff like that. I mean, it does make sense where if you have a wet market where you've got different species of animals that never have been around each other in some enclosed area where that could make people sick. Yeah, I can understand that. I admit that the Chinese can do some dirty ass shit in their country. I can concede to that. Yes. You know, I admit I would concede to that. Do I agree that, you know, just catching some wild boa constrictor out there where you don't know where it's been and then putting it with some polar bear and you know, mixing them up together in the same cage and then you eat that animal, that can get you sick? I can concede that. But I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if this virus was made in a laboratory. I wouldn't be surprised. And you know what really ticks me off is the fact that you've got the US-Canadian border that is still closed. But right now, I could book a flight to China where this thing started, or Italy where this thing was really bad. Right now, I could go there and come back. That doesn't make any sense. And then you got these Canucks, man. You know, Canadians really piss me off. Yeah, I'm a Canadian, but y'all are sometimes... Honestly, sometimes I just think to myself, like, you know, anyway, let me not even start with y'all blasted Canadian Canucks, man. Y'all really, I don't know, I'm starting to think y'all are hopeless or something. You got Canucks out there saying, keep the border closed! You fools were electing Justin the Tackhead Tarface Swiftfoot Mac Daddy Trudeau, who was allowing the American border to be wide open to all sorts of people coming in Roxham Road. You didn't know who they were. Y'all elected him again and you loving up all over him. And now y'all are trying to act like you some kind of smart... Y'all are as dumb as ever. Probably even dumber than 2015 when you elected Matt Daddy. Talk about you want the border closed now. You want the border... The only reason you want the border closed now is because the globalists told you that's the right thing to do. When Trump was saying it, you all, that is so racist! This virus, it doesn't know any borders! And I said, yes, temporarily, I said let's close the border between Canada and China, not Canada and America. And even if we did close the border between Canada and America, and do it in certain places, don't close Alberta off to North Dakota, and don't do it for this long. And don't do it where you have the border closed, but people from China can come in. That doesn't make any sense. But no, because the globalists and because the mainstream media tell you we need to do it, now you dumb bunny Canucks support it. You all are so easily, you know who the only other people who are so easily controlled other than Canucks? Black people. Black people. You got these black people out now, I mean, you know, following mostly white liberals out there tearing down statues of Theodore Roosevelt and all these kind of people, Abraham Lincoln, all these kind of people. I mean, don't get me wrong. I support the phrase Black Lives Matter because Black lives do matter and police should stop trying to kill us off. And that's why I'm not standing up here defending police because it's the police who are going to put us in concentration camps when they start getting us ready for the forced vaccines. But you all running around with these George Soros-funded white libtards, you all are following those people into the abyss. But anyway, let me not go too far off track. That's for another video. You all may be brainwashed. I'm not. I see what is going on by experience and by common sense. I see the fact that a family member of mine has just died and they marked it as coronavirus when he would be alive today if the nurses and the doctors had paid better attention to him instead of doing whatever they were doing. I see that it's not this virus we have to worry about because you've got Japan, Sweden, all these other countries which are not locked down and their population is fine. It's not the virus we have to worry about. It's the people who are in charge we have to worry about. I see this, and I'm going to stick by it to my dying breath. And I urge you, fellow patriots, to join with me. I'm sorry I can't go to Ottawa. But believe you me, just because I can't be there in person, I am with you. I am with you, you know. You may not think I'm with you. Right now, I'm with you. Even when this video ends, I'm with you. Even though you don't know it. Even when I'm reprimanding you for being short-sighted and short-minded, which some of you can be, I'm still with you. Because I'm not a globalist who wants to control, destroy humanity, and just be a plague on society and a menace to humanity. I genuinely want individuals, everyone, to succeed, to be happy, white, black, to be free, prosperous, all of that. And this is the Arana Nation.